my mom wanted a girl. So she had 3 boys, and then her factory stopped. She wanted to call it a day. And then for some strange reason, she decided to maybe just give herself one more chance. And then I came to this world. When I first arrived in this world, my parents were very busy taking care of their existing 3 kids. So what they did was they sent me to a nanny until I was in K2, I think. That's when I need to go to primary school. And then my mom went over to my nanny and wanted to bring me back. The first day when I entered the house, which was at the Block 44 Bill Crescent, I wasn't used to that family because that wasn't my family at that point in time. My family was with my nanny. And then the house was really small. It's only me, my 3 brothers, my parents. So after my high school, I got into Anglo-Chinese Junior College. The life there during the first 6 months was still okay because I wasn't very mindful that I was being ostracized. So I started to skip schools. I was late for school. Yeah, after that my results went for the worst. Regrettably, I think I blame my mom for it. That's quite unfortunate at that point in time. I think I blame her for being poor. Yeah. The first A-level exams, I did very badly. So I told her I don't think I'm able to get to the university. So what I did was I went to serve my national service for 2.5 years. And during that time, I retook the A-level as a private candidate. And it was only the 3rd time when I took my A-level that I managed to get a seat in the science faculty. But unfortunately, my mom told me that even though I got myself to university, she couldn't afford to pay for my school fees. So at that point in time, I had to figure out how to do it. So what I did was I delayed my entry to NUS for about a year. So I worked in a factory, in a Tuas, for about 1 year. It was a 3-shift job. So I have some savings. And then I realized that even with the savings, it wasn't sufficient to pay for the tuition fee. So I took a 25,000 loan from POSB. So that's how I survived my university days. So life, there are always 2 sides, which is very interesting. You have this happiest moment in university, and it's also the saddest moment in NUS as well. So on year 3, just a day before my final exam, my father had a stroke, and then he has a heart attack. And even if he survived, he will be a vegetable. So what happened is next day, about 11 a.m., my father was pronounced dead. I didn't know how to feel, so I just saw my mom crying outside. I saw my brothers crying, and I just cried. Yeah. During 4th year, when my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Yeah. And at that point of time, I was the first person in the family to know about this. And the doctor told me to communicate to her in Teochew that she only has 3 months to live. And then because at the point in time, we're still quite poor. So Hospice Care Association, they lent us a wheelchair first, so that my mom could sit on the wheelchair. But she probably knows that her days are up. And fast forward, my mom died eventually. Coincidentally, it's still on my final year papers. My biggest dream was to own a fish farm after I graduated. That's why I took a zoology degree. But unfortunately, after I graduated, I realized that I still owe POSB some money, which is 25,000. So my priority was just to find a job and then pay bills. That's about it. So daytime I had a job, nighttime I was working in a tuition center. So I saved up quite a bit of money. And I think about 2 years I paid off that 25K alone. And the remaining years I still do part-time. And it was in year 2000 that I saved up about 50+ K of cash. And year 2000 was a very interesting year. It was the millennium. It was the beginning of the .com. Very exciting. And coincidentally, during the time I took a master's. And the degree was called a Master of science, bracket e-business. Yeah, so I thought I was very smart. So here am I with 50K of savings with a master degree. So what I did was I started investing in technology companies. Yeah. Unfortunately, in 2001, the dot-com bubble burst. So I lost all the savings I had. Now, losing money was one thing, but losing the time that I've used to save up this money is a separate thing, because no money can ever buy back that time that I've lost. The money that I used to invest eventually went to zero, was supposed to be meant for my wedding. So now I'm supposed to pay for my wedding, but I do not have any money. So eventually I had to tell my girlfriend the truth, in which I did. So coincidentally, she has about 50 plus K. So she lent me that 50 plus K so that I can marry her. So 2001, we got married. And when we got married, my net worth was negative 50K. And her net worth was zero. And both of us just went broke. But I knew that that shouldn't be the end point. So what I did was, after I lost all the money, I continued to work my two jobs. I need to do something different. But at the point in time, I didn't know that I need to learn about investing or whatsoever. But I have one endpoint in mind. The endpoint is to recover back the $50,000 that I've lost. Strangest things happened is during the last year when I was in my ex-company. I realized that I want to do much more. My dream was I wanted to just be a freelance trainer, enjoy the work that I do, and I started to polish my skill being a speaker. And then in 2010, I started a Value Investing Academy. Somewhere in mid-2010, I have a severe pain on my right side of my waist. And then a couple of days later, I went over to the specialist clinic. So they found a tumor. And after that, they found a tumor. Wow, things unfold very quickly. The surgeon or the senior consultant at that point in time decided that we have to do the surgery very quickly. I didn't know how painful it was. Wow, but it was really bad. They give a very huge cut, maybe about 30 centimeters long from the mid of my body to the side. They rip everything up, they remove my entire left kidney. Everything goes as per normal until in 2014, I had a relapse. So they did a second incision, maybe about 25 centimeters. They took out the two tumors, and then they did some prognosis, and then they realized that the cancer cells were exactly the same as those in the first episode, which means that the cell has spread. So in February, in my routine scan, they found something inside my bladder. I had the third surgery. They removed the tumor inside my bladder. Right now, every 3 months, I'm supposed to go for the blood test. Every 6 months, I'm supposed to go for a scan. So every time when I get the results of the blood test or scan, it's as though the doctor is tossing a coin. And the coin can only flip two sides. One is dead, one is alive. I think the biggest benefit of having cancer is really the fact that it gives me realization of how important time is. After I realized that time is short, I really need to meet some of the people that I've always wanted to meet for a very long time. I mean, in my line of work as a value investor, I've always wanted to meet the role models in the world of value investing. So just to name a few, eventually my dreams really came true. Now I met up with Professor Bruce Greenwald from Columbia University. I met up with Professor George Athanasakos from IB Business School. I met up with the descendant of Sir John Templeton, Miss Laura Templeton. I met up the ex-daughter-in-law of Warren Buffett by the name called Mary Buffett, and the whole list goes on. And through them, other than investing, they have also taught me the value of life. And throughout my career as a speaker, I'm also really lucky because I get to speak to about 50,000 people across 11 cities in entire Asia. I got myself featured on newspaper, radio stations, magazines, whether it's Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and so on. And as I look back, if there comes a day when I really need to leave, I think I would have lived my life to the fullest. Time is the true unit measure of life. Without time, life don't exist. Never assume that we're going to live forever. So within this time that is being given to us, do the best we can live the life based on what we have and not based on what others expected out of us. I'm Cayden Chang, and this is my story.